Hello, welcome to another episode of Drinking with Comics. My name is Sean,
I'm Mike.
and we're going to drink and talk about comics. So
Yes.
we do not have a similar beer today. We don't have a pairing.
Mhm.
Uh, we're recording this on the back of a previous episode, so we finished our Summerly Raspberry Wheat Ale by Pollyanna Brewing in Normal, Illinois,
Very
and
delicious.
very delicious. And now we're going to follow this. So we took opposite ends of the spectrum. Mike, what are you drinking?
I am drinking, keeping it with the Morrison theme of more brewing, which is like we kind of established. So that we were kind of sticking with this. I'm sticking with our favorite from last year. And I'm not wrong in saying this. I think it was in our top five, if I recall, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
Double mango double marbles from More Brewing. It is, oh no, it's a milkshake style double Indian IPA with mango and vanilla. As we discussed before, a bunch of things that shouldn't work together that works together in an amazing, delicious nectar of the gods way.
Yes.
And
I'm
sir,
very jealous that you have that.
you
I,
have the worst beer we've ever had.
yeah, I've been telling people this might be the worst beer I've ever had. I mean, I'm discounting like special export and things that like obviously
Oh,
it's terrible, right?
yeah.
I mean, it's like
I
go
I
figure.
think I would have a fucking another one of those America beers from Hulk Hogan than I would
Same,
before I have a zombie ice.
same. Yep. And I'd
Yep.
pour half on the ground for Hulkster, but
Yes.
oh, and also just to not have to drink half of it. It'd be, it'd be like a nice gesture, but also like, underhanded. Uh, I do this. If there's a movie I like or music I don't if there's a movie I don't like or music I don't like, then I'm like, maybe it's me. Maybe I have the wrong context. Maybe I can revisit this at some point in time. And I think this goes back to in 97, 98 when
Hmm.
Soundgarden released what would be their final album because Kingdom Animal whatever the fuck that's called doesn't count. Down on the Upside, I remember my friend Jake and I bought it, listened to it, and we're like, huh? And then a couple weeks go by, and he came to me and he's like, dude, no, you got to listen to it. Listen to it a couple more times. Just listen to it. And eventually, I was like, oh, this is brilliant. So I do that, right? There's other examples of things
Yes.
throughout my history where I didn't like it, and then I was like, oh, now, okay, no, I get it.
I gotta do that with Nick Cave and New Gods with you, or Old Gods. No, New God.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, This is Three Floyd Zombie Ice. We did this on a previous episode as well, and both pretty much agreed it was absolutely fucking awful. And I got to tell you, I I think Three Floyds. Okay, so Stone Brewing and Arrogant Bastard. I remember there was a point where I'm like, okay, Arrogant Bastard, which I used to legitimately like.
Hmm.
Their catchphrase, their slogan is "You're not worthy." So in other words, people are like, "Oh, I don't like it, you pussy." That's exactly what that is. It's exactly what it is. You fucking.
Peer
And
pressure.
I kind of think that the zombie ice is a piss take. I think they know Three Floyds knows it's not good, but they're like, whatever. People will drink it because we're gonna give it a cool name and cool album art, right? And
Yes.
dude, I don't know. So, and it's gotta be a play on the ice beers from my childhood. The Ice House, Ice Dog, Ice this, Ice that, Miller Ice, fucking
See, I
junk.
was getting Game of Thrones Ice King vibes off
Oh,
that.
maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you right now.
Okay.
The nose did not make me want to die. So,
Okay.
okay, that could be a good sign.
Cheers.
Cheers. Dude, this beer is just like, your tongue is mine.
Yeah.
it's it's got such a the body even is part of the problem. It's just like weird. I I
I feel like there's going to be an episode where you still have two more cans of this. You save me one can. Next time I see you, I will take that can off you. We'll do it one more time together, and then we'll finish it with this beer. Is the most delicious beer we've ever had, just because it seems right. Mm. Also, that we can drink this again in the future.
Oh, I'm not even sure I'm going to pour this. It's sometimes you can mitigate it by drinking it from the can or the sales receptacle.
I seem to recall that was your answer last time. Was if you drink it from the can, it's not nearly as bad as it was pouring.
Crafted with an unholy amount of citra hops, this double undead pale ale heralds the zombie evolution after the dust has settled from the apocalypse. Well, if this was the only beer after the apocalypse, I would probably drink it and be grateful for it. It is not, however, so I don't know. I'm gonna drink
If
it.
it was the only beer after the apocalypse, I think I would earn my blue chip by now.
We are going to finish our coverage now of Seven Soldiers, Grant
Hmm.
Morrison's sprawling 2005 2006 epic. That as we talked about in the two previous episodes, really is the ambition matches the execution. Like it's very well done. Although I tell you right now, I didn't. The ending is a little bit of like there's a little of that for sure.
Yeah,
And I could see you agree
but
because
I like the ending, but we'll get to that in a minute.
we'll get to that. So previously we did JLA classified 1 through 3 because that really sets it up, and then we did Seven Soldiers Zero, which introduces was it Greg Saunders and his as vigilante and his team of heroes that are only six because one doesn't show up. That does indeed call back in today's episode with what we read. We did all the first issues, and then we just did, or no, we did several, and then in the last episode. So this is the third episode. So we're
Yeah.
going to cover the later series. So Mr. Miracle, Bulleteer, and Frankenstein. We're going to cover 2, 3, and 4 of those, and then Seven Soldiers #1. So let's start with Mr. Miracle #2. Now I want your take on Mr. Miracle. In the first issue, he's going to escape from a black hole. He goes into the black hole, disappears, come out of the black hole, and then weird shit happens. Like Jacob's ladder shit starts happening.
You know what I gotta say about rereading this all at once? There's a certain amount of joy of like, when you like, as an average comic book reader, right? You pick up your book every week. You're reading Batman, then you're reading Spider-Man, then you go back to Superman, or like X-Men, and then next week comes by and then you read, X-Force, Robin. You know what I mean? There's like a weekly, you're like going through several different books at once,
Yeah,
right? Um, you don't get that when you read a trade. You don't get like you're jumping back and forth between books when you read trade because you're reading one solid book run.
right.
This, you kind of get that vibe. You're like, oh shit, I'm okay. So now I just read Mr. Miracle. I'm going to Bulleteer, two different books, same universe, same storyline in the background, but two different, completely different vibes for a book. Like it's like shifting gears in the middle of the book.
Hmm.
And it's kind of jarring and kind of refreshing reading it like that in the graphic novel format. Another plus to reading this series and as we read it, not like how it, well, as it came out, not as a whole of the thing. Um, Basically, that's all I have to say about that. So it is kind of charming that there is that like feel of like, oh wow, I feel like I'm reading like six different books that my weekly pull with every trade.
Right, but they all pertain
Um,
to the same events
yes. Um,
to varying degrees.
as far as we're talking about Mr. Miracle, right? I enjoyed it. It seemed to like, and I think I said this in previous episode last week, was like it had less to do with the overall story than compared to everything else. And I still hold true to that. Like I feel it is not if you had to like, I only can afford six of these books, but I want to read the whole story and get all the vibe for the whole Sheeta invasion thing, you could literally skip Mr. Miracle because it really has nothing to do about the Sheeta invasion as much as it is just setting up new gods. In like, this could have been a potential new god series
Hmm.
that would have been very interesting. Don't get me wrong. It is a very interesting take on New Gods. The artwork is beautiful. The story itself is very good. But as far as like tying into like, here's the subway, and the subway hits the giant spider in this issue, and that's clear hand, that's a different issue, and it affects that issue forward. It does none of that. I don't even know if the gravity well ties in any way. I didn't see a tie-in in any way to Seven Soldiers. I could be wrong. Did I miss something in that?
No, in the final issue, Apocalypse, or I mean, I'm sorry, Darkseid, or Mr. Darkseid says
Yes.
he's got to deal with them with the Sheeta
Yeah.
to ravage whatever's left. Which I don't know there's a lot about the New Gods and Darkseid and Desaid and all that that I don't know. So okay, you're not wrong. Mr. Miracle is probably the least, but also I feel like all three of these second wave titles, Frankenstein, Bulleteer, and Mr. Miracle, have less to do with the
Yes.
overall story. They do tie in. Um,
I think Frankenstein does more and Bulleteer a little bit, and obviously Mr. Miracle a lot less.
well,
Because
Bulleteer
Frankenstein
ties in
had,
eventually because
yeah,
he's the seventh soldier that didn't go to Greg Saunders, right? His team in the Zero issue. So that
yes.
makes perfect sense. And then it does end up really tying in. But other than that, I was kind of like, during the first two issues, I was like, there's like little bits, but not really. And then
Hmm.
Frankenstein, similarly, like it in the third issue on Mars, it like really because you get Melmoth, but you also get who I didn't realize at the time is uh, the undying mobster from Shining Knight's son is one of the characters in that.
Yeah, I didn't
Um,
quite get that either. Like, did they talk about him in the previous issues? I don't
he
remember them
references his
mentioning him.
father, but I didn't. I don't know. I'd have to go back and look at it again. The thing with Mr. Miracle I find so interesting is okay, he goes into the black hole. It's his it's
Mhm.
the first issue starts with like his escape, his big escape promo thing is that he's going to be dropped into a artificially generated black hole and
Yes.
escape from it. And he does.
Hmm.
You find out later though, he's in there for 7 days. You don't know that
Yes.
for you don't know that till like either the fourth issue or until zero. I mean, I'm sorry, until Seven Soldiers 1. Um, I think the whole series takes place in what is
Oh,
essentially to me a first pass at the absolute universe.
I don't think it was the absolute universe as much as it was the JLA classified Cube of Quag universe that they
Quahog.
went into. Quahog, yes, they're the Quahog universe. But a different version of that, kind of similar that it was along those lines, if that makes sense.
Because it's like evil, like there's several references. Um, actually, there's several references in multiple books. Because I have one written down here from Bulleteer, number 4, where like I almost feel like and now obviously absolute was not even a twinkle in anybody's eye I don't think when this was out but I'm wondering if
Hmm.
this like as a lot of Morrison stuff does inspired it eventually because
Yeah.
there are these references in Bulleteer. It's like, did nobody tell you the world is rotten to the core? Did nobody tell you good girls have no place in hell? They reference this as being like a hell dimension in multiple books, multiple times.
Hmm.
I find that really interesting.
Well, that's the whole dark side takeover thing. There's like references to the whole final crisis thing too that eventually dark side wins. I kind of got that vibe from like there's a panel. I don't think it is straight up from like as much as like Rock of Ages was predicting
Hmm.
the Final Crisis series, but there is that panel in all the superheroes are fighting Omax and Batman's dead with a shot through his chest, like he got shot by the Omega beams, which is what happens. Um, that could have also been Infinite Crisis reference too. I don't know. Um, it was referencing something that he, and then he kind of gathers some teams and leaves. It was just like a short thing. It really had nothing to do with anything. I felt like that might have been like a first pass at what would have been Final Crisis, but didn't end up being Final Crisis.
I get the sense that, like the way you said, this Mr. Miracle is essentially like a shot at relaunching New Gods in like a modern context kind of thing.
Hmm.
Um, I'm wondering if like so because after this, it's so confusing. Did Infinite Crisis predate New 52 and catalyze it?
So Infinite Crisis was the crisis that happened before the 52 series, the weekly series spun out of that. And that was the year that they took absence of like Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman took the year off. And that was the year off in that series as it came out weekly for a year. Um, and then New 52 happened 2000, like several years later, like not several, but like 4 or 5 years later. Yeah, 2012. Yeah.
So I almost wonder if like DC was looking for a way to do what they did with New 52 and like relaunch everything from scratch. And this was Seven Soldiers with Morrison saying, like, I have an idea how to do that. Let me start it with this stuff. And then it just didn't really
Hmm.
work, right? But because I did get the sense that they're like building new foundational stuff that would have went on, aside from just being titles, right? Like we know
Yes.
Mr. Miracle didn't go on, but like Frankenstein Agent of Shade, I believe, was a book that launched shortly after this, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it was a New 52 book that they brought back. Frankenstein was one of
So
the New 52 books.
okay,
But Grant Morrison didn't write it, so it wasn't.
because it definitely feels like there's like universal. I don't know.
There's a lot I feel that spun out of this series that is currently felt today. I mean,
Mhm.
this introduced spinning out of like let's are we done with Mr. Miracle, I'd say. Let's move on to Frankenstein.
Well, real quick, I want to just drop this quote from Mr. Miracle because I thought one of the things with Mr. Miracle is it's the most like some of Morrison's proprietary stuff where it's him like kind of espousing like philosophical ideas that he's trying to like grapple with.
Yeah.
So there's a quote in Mr. Miracle number 4 where they're asking Shiloh Norman, Mr. Miracle, like, have your eyes grown strong enough to behold the fundamental force that is restriction, the trap that follows you wherever you go, that moves as you go, unseen and all around? So this is like a life trap, which I believe they call it that at some point.
Yeah.
And like that, all that's like a thing. Like I feel like that is a legitimate. I've used those words before. Like we have to be careful not to get stuck in a life trap here.
Hmm.
And it really also goes with, I don't know if you're a fan of the band X, but from their self-titled album, the final song on it is called The Have Nots. And
Okay.
there's the chorus is, this is the game that moves as you play. And I don't know if he's referencing that, but per se, but it feels very similar. Like I like this idea that there's this philosophical idea in Mr. Miracle that like, no, you don't understand. Like you think you can get out of any trap, but your life is a trap.
Yes.
And that felt like Morrison talking. There's several moments in this, like where
Yes.
and in a lot of his the Filth Invisibles, like I feel like he's talking directly to the reader, and so that was one of those moments where I was like, oh, okay. But so yes, I think we're done with Mr. Miracle just in that. I think it was really more like an attempt to kind of relaunch the New Gods, and also to kind of like gobble up that Daredevil Ben Affleck movie and kind of use it with this like weird urbanized version of the New Gods, right? Um, it's almost like a critique or a commentary on kind of the way
Okay,
that
I'll go further.
some of the changes they made in Daredevil. I feel like he's reflecting them back here because he tends to do that.
Okay.
Um,
I never would have thought of that. I didn't get anything from Daredevil. But yeah, I guess because yeah,
because it's a
Kingpin and the Daredevil is very much like Dark Side in this. Yeah, I could see
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
exactly. Like they're the same, but they're also put into this urban context. And this is a fucking
Yes.
Chicago honky saying urban because it's like, yeah, black. But
Yeah.
that's very much what this Mr. Miracle title is. Like it has a lot of
Yes,
that.
100%. Everyone is pretty much race swapped, and it's not a bad thing.
No, not at all. It's just interesting.
It
It's,
is a very interesting take on New Gods. And there's that point in the last issue where it's like he has his goggles on where he's like seeing New God vision and dark side be the proper dark side, DARKYSDCYDE, I don't know, versus
not even
dark
close.
side, which is DARKSIDE.
Space SIDE.
Yeah. Yeah, dark side as we all pronounce it. Um are having two different conversations. One, the new God versus
Yeah.
one, the street gangster guy.
Yes.
Um, and it's the same end result. They're telling you the same thing, but one is speaking as if he is dark side or seed, dark seed,
Dark
maybe.
side, just dark side, and the other one he
I know
referred to
dark
as
side, and the other one is dark side.
Mr. Darkside. That's what he calls him at one
Yes.
point. Mr. Darkside.
They all are plotting against him. He is in a life trap. That at the end we find out it's the entire book's been him trapped in this other universe was kind of fascinating. I'm not going
Yeah.
to lie, but at the end it's like it really didn't do anything what the other seven soldiers did it. Um, but it was a very like if this was going to be the launching point of a New Gods book written by Grant Morrison, who let's be honest, Grant Morrison really should fucking write a New Gods book. Because if anyone in this world could take that Jack Kirby book, that is like if you ever read New Gods,
No, I
I've
mean,
never read New Gods.
I've
But
read
when
an
someone
issue.
tells me, yes, but when someone explains to me New Gods, or they fucking tell me like this, like if someone was like, oh, you should read New Gods because of blah blah blah, or I read somewhere like New Gods does blah blah blah, or there's a reference to something else like they did this blah blah blah. I was like, Jesus Christ, that's some fucking Grant Morrison shit right
Yeah,
there
right, right.
that Jack Kirby was doing. So like it's almost like you should have let him write a New Gods book. Like at this point, it might be too late. But if anything, Grant Morrison should do a New Gods. Let Grant Morrison run wild on Jack Kirby's shit because I think he's the only person in the world that could fully comprehend what Jack Kirby was doing.
Yeah,
And I don't think Jack Kirby was on any drugs at the time of doing it, but I think Grant Morrison has done enough drugs to understand it.
yeah, that's well said, I think.
Yes. Um, but yeah, in that aspect, like out of all these books that I would like to see spun off, that would have been the one I would have been more interested in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed, agreed. I mean, as launching pads, I like them, but they're
I think
really
they're all good.
self-contained.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that could have led somewhere. But okay, but you referenced Frankenstein. So,
Let's go to Frankenstein now.
um,
Issue two, Frankenstein of Mars. For
oh
those
yeah,
of
that
you who
was
don't
issue
know,
two.
John
That's right.
Carter of Mars. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's totally what it is, right? It's totally
Yeah.
what it is. It's like,
John
uh,
Carter in space, just them. I don't know how he even got to Mars, but
it,
he's on Mars. He's fighting Mr. What's his face again?
Melmoth.
Monarchy Melmoth. And you also get the boy who was the leader of this ties into Clarion issue two, was it? With
Yeah,
the
the
orphanage
red. So in Clarion, they're all concerned about when they
going
turn,
to
what
the
is it,
red.
16 or 18? They're too old to
Yes,
be
16.
So then they're too old to be in Melmoth's like little kid gang, you know,
Orphanage. Yeah.
and they go to the red team, but nobody knows what that is. And then the one kid comes back and says it's awful or whatever, and it's
Hmm.
they turn 16 and they get taken to Mars where he's got them doing manual labor mining stuff.
Yes. 100. And then I think the one kid is the kid from the leader of the group. Yeah.
Yes.
Those guys in spacesuits. I didn't quite get. Is that Melmoth's? No, that's the gangster son in that, isn't it? Who loses his head or something like that.
The gangster's son is one of the kids in the well, he's in the spacesuit, yeah, because he says, "Oh, my father is an important man. He'll be very grateful."
Yeah, I didn't quite get the like that kid's story at all. Like it didn't really.
There was some weird compression. And the,
Yes.
the the one kid is Billy from Clarion. I've just confirmed it. So the kid in Clarion 2 that's leading the street gang, right? The kind of like pickpockets or whatever you want to say. Billy, he's in the fur coat in Clarion 2. He is in Frankenstein 4 because at the end of that Clarion, he gets taken to the red team. And so now we're seeing the red team, right?
Hmm.
Frankenstein liberates all of them, kills Melmoth. So that's technically, I guess, I don't, as dead as anybody can be in a comic book.
Yeah. I don't think he came back, did he? After that,
He didn't come
I
back
think
in this
that's
series, no.
no.
Um, so okay, so that was it's so hard to talk about this because it's so fucking like it is chaotic. Like you said it last time, but you were like,
Hmm.
I feel like we should be covering this more, but like more I forget how you said it, but like, resolutely, but
Strings on a billboard or on a
yeah, like
chalkboard, like
it's so chaotic, but it works so fucking well. And I think the thing is, it's all there's almost a metatextual element where I found myself wondering the same way it's hard to keep track of shit for me as the reader. The whole idea of the team is that if the
mhm.
Sheeta know they're a team, they won't succeed as a team to defeat the Sheeta. So I'm almost thinking, knowing Morrison and his like leanings into this metatextual kind of thing, is that like part of the fucking point? Is that, oh no, I did it that way so the Sheeta doesn't recognize that they're a team in case they read this. You know what I mean? Like I feel like that's a legitimate take.
There's something to be said about that. Like, just in case, I'm going to cover my grounds, not let the Sheeta know that they're a team. Yeah, yeah, I get
Well,
it.
and
Yeah.
if I mean, most of his work, but especially Multiversity, like the characters are reading the fucking comic books that are in the
Yes.
series, Multiversity, right? So I feel like there's definitely a possibility for that.
Hmm.
But I really enjoyed, and I think a large part of the Frankenstein, the first issue is in that high school. The second issue is then on Mars. The third
On
issue
Mars.
introduces the bride, right?
Who, once again, like, and this is the point I was trying to make earlier with the Bride and Frankenstein. Out of all, like, and the Seven Soldiers in general, like, these characters have really taken off
Yeah.
in modern media. Like, the Bride is, as we learned that the Bride is in one of the main characters in Creature Commandos. So is Frankenstein. And then like Mr. Miracle, even though it's not Shiloh, it's going to be the original Mr. Miracle. It's got his own TV show coming.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Um, yeah, it's only a matter of time before Zartana gets her own thing because she is a character that totally works as
Yeah.
a character that can be her own show. And yeah, so there's a Mr. Miracle. It's the Mr. Miracle thing, to be fair, is the Mr. Miracle Tom King run. Um, so that'll be that's the claim that they're turning into an animated series, but is technically part of the DC movie universe because
Okay.
it is going forward to that. So I mean, that's two things that kind of I think Mr. Miracle would happen regardless, but I can't help but think like Frankenstein and the Bride spun out of this series completely. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
right. Absolutely. They
I don't.
reintroduced them as DC regulars, and
Yes.
so the third issue basically sets that up in this shade, right? I forget what it stands
Mhm.
for. It's
Uh,
Superhuman Advanced Defense Executive.
yes.
Um, and you get this character. I think that he's called Father Time. He looks like Lawrence Fishburne to me, but he's like running it.
Oh,
Um,
100%.
so this and they go into this place looking for this weird. I don't even know what the fuck this is. Like this, it looks like that X-Men character from his run where it's like the hollow, like the translucent body, but it's filled with liquid.
Hmm.
Um,
Oh, it's Chemo. So I did some research. I don't know if are you familiar with Chemo at all?
no.
Or Chemo, yeah. Chemo is this guy right here.
Oh wow. Okay. Okay.
Like a clear giant kaiju in a like a hazmat suit, just full of toxic waste. So he's like
Oh.
a sentient toxic waste being. This was like the Build-A-Figure from like I don't remember what Mattel series before McFarlane took it over.
Okay.
And it was one of those things like I just wanted a Chemo figure, so I just bought it on eBay for like 30 bucks, 40, 50 bucks is well worth it. Just because he's just this weird, giant, clear, translucent goo guy.
Hmm.
And I thought that when I saw it, it was like, this is the water version of him in that. But they mentioned the creator, like they used this guy's technology to create that guy.
Ramsey
And
Norton.
this is Ramsey Norton, from what I understand. I
Okay.
don't know
Got it.
much about Chemo. It's just one of those like, this is what I love about DC. Giant green
Right.
goo guy in a suit who I've seen him on Teen Titans Go. I've seen him on Brave and the Bold. I've seen him, I think, Justice League. I don't think he's ever been in Justice League Unlimited, but he's shown up in a couple things. Just fun, goofy DC shit, and I love it. I'm here for it.
Yeah, like I enjoyed this issue. I mean, again, it doesn't really tie into Seven Soldiers really at all. It just kind of sets up that shade. But how where it ties
Yes.
in is it's the first time you hear this Father Time guy running shade saying we're approaching planetary crisis level with what's going on. Where are
Yes.
the superheroes? We're all that's left. Um, so it's kind of introducing that idea that like, oh shit's really fucked up and they don't really have the manpower right now. Although
Yeah.
I don't know what was going on elsewhere that would dictate that, but
And then he goes into the future and then straight up fights the Sheeta.
so then that's how it yeah, he goes into the
Yeah.
future to 1 billion years and then I this is the crux of the whole series for me because you learn that the Sheeta is basically mankind a billion years from now. And okay, the Sheeta ravage all culture before the end. The last living specimens clinging to a dying earth, consuming their own history to survive. What man will
Hmm.
finally become? Now, and I know he's played with, like, I know his Marvel Boy plays with a living corporation. I don't remember it. It's been years since I read it. I have it.
Okay.
Um, dude, it's corporations. Like, I don't know if that's the point he's making or not, but the idea that, like, in 2026, what do corporations do? They consume and destroy all aspects of culture to make money.
I don't think that it's corporations, but I agree with you that it is corporations, if that makes sense. Like,
I mean,
I don't
well,
see
I don't
that
know if
being the
he's saying it's
original plan.
corporations. I don't know
No,
if
but
he's
I
making that point,
see
but
what
that's
you're
what it
saying
is,
is right.
right?
Yes.
There's a one
I
for
took it
one.
as, yes, I took it as like it is the eventual human
Yeah.
evolution. And that they're going back in time fighting everything. And this kind of goes back to Shining Knight. Well, I'm putting a pin in this, and we'll talk about this in the last issue.
Well, this is the last.
No, this is last issue of Frankenstein, the last issue of Seven Soldiers.
Oh, I'm sorry. Got it. Okay.
Yes. So I'm gonna put a pin in that. Stay tuned, keep watching. We'll talk about that in a minute.
But wait, so
But
you're putting
yes,
a
I did enjoy the last issue of Frankenstein on its own. It's very solid.
Mhm.
It does tie into him fighting Nishida and then kind of leads into the last issue of Seven Soldiers.
Yes, very much so. So
Yes.
as a book that it actually ties in maybe more than the other two of the second wave.
Yes.
Even though two issues kind of don't, but the other two issues do.
Yes, I
Um,
agree.
Bulleteer it's so funny because I just know how he thinks from reading him and reading interviews and watching interviews and like
Mhm.
it's like you call it like the cheesecake book. Like every female in this
Oh,
book is constantly standing in these poses with their ass up in the air and their tits out and stuff. And it's like it's on purpose. There's a commentary going on, but it ends up
so we
being
get the so let's get into this, dig us a little deeper on this one, not just that. So issue two, she goes to a convention, right?
yes.
It's a commentary on going to a comic book convention. There's cosplayers, superheroes, like everyone's meeting their favorite star slash cosplayer. There's like over sexualization of very, like there's the one girl who's like got the bunny ears, and it's not even the one White Rabbit from Batman, which I thought was funny. It would have been, but her brain is a muscle. That's why she's dumb.
Oh, wait a minute. This is issue
Or
three we're talking
that's
about.
issue three. Okay, so issue two. What the fuck was issue two then?
Issue
So
two is
issue
where
one.
she meets Agent Harrigan or Helligan,
Oh yes, that's
who
right.
we saw in Shining Knight, right? The FBI
Yes,
specialist
and
that's
then
in on
she
this.
dies.
Well, but she shows her this all this footage about the vigilante Saunders from Zero issue and
Mhm.
his team fought a guy called the Iron Hand, who they go to see in prison, and he talks about he summoned Nebulo, and
Yeah,
they
no.
tried to institute the reaping against their enemies or whatever.
Mhm.
Um, and they show you like there's a scene where like eye spiders get his fucking intestines ripped out by the giant spider, blah blah blah. Then there's this whole thing where like it works, but I was like, what? And then it ends up working. They're talking about when Saunders met Iron Fist or Iron Hand in the Old West. You know what's in this gun. I know you do, Lupulino. And they're talking about Iron Hand is like they're racist. Everybody's racist. I'm like, what is happening? Because they're werewolves, which then ties into Agent Halligan's the wedding she's been saying since Shining Night she needs to go
Yeah.
to, and she needs to stop it. And it turns out because the groom is a werewolf. It's like the weirdest. I was like, what? I mean, it ends up working, but I'm like, did it need to be there? Like, I'm not sure. But I also know that Saunders, the vigilante, there's like a long history with him in the DCU where like he was displaced to the Old West for like 10 years and the Justice League saved him, blah, blah, blah. So
Yes.
I think Morrison's just playing with all this stuff that if you're a really well versed connoisseur of the DCU, you're like, oh, yeah, they're referencing this book with Saunders from 20 years ago. Not me. So I'm like, right. So I'm like,
Well, I took the werewolf thing as the fact that Bulleteer is literally a silver bullet.
yeah, but that doesn't really pay off though. I mean, you're
No, it
right.
doesn't. But she is a silver bullet. So what do silver bullets do? They stop werewolves. And
Right, right.
what she doing that is she stops a werewolf, essentially. Not her, but the FBI agent.
I, and but
Yeah,
then
the second issue was good. I
it,
don't, God,
well,
I
and
don't
then at
remember
the
much
end
of
you
it.
get the whole thing with her roommate, which right away we were like,
Yes.
okay, something's up with the roommate, right? So three
Well, I think
then,
she had her hand behind her back with like a knife or something like.
yes.
No,
No, it's
obviously it's
not a
like,
knife. I don't know what it
yeah.
is. At first I thought it was a large black dildo, but that's not what it was.
Mhm. That
Um,
which could have also worked with the sexualization of this series.
but
So then you go to the convention that I was talking about.
yes.
And then in that, she's like I said, there's like she's protecting a mermaid who's got a kid, which is basically Aquaman's story.
Yeah.
Except the kid looks like Bat Boy from the Weekly World News.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and that's where you get like you see like kind of like the sexualization, like the one guy's like, oh, just show your cleavage, they'll
Yeah.
stop
Right.
talking.
Right.
It's like everyone's trying to get her pants off in various ways throughout the whole second issue or third issue, which kind of pays off in the fourth issue when she actually meets other woman from her husband that her husband was emailing online.
Which is the roommate, right? Is Sally Smart
Yes,
or what?
which
Or
turns out to be the roommate. Yes. So what I was getting at is there's this whole like almost like OnlyFans subculture, which I mean was a
yes.
thing back then. Fourth issue, you find out Sally, is it Sally Smart?
Yes.
Her origin story while they were fighting. And it's fascinating because like you have the girl who just doesn't fucking give a damn. That if I could give you fucking like if I had to describe Bulleteer in like a sentence, it's just like she doesn't give a fuck.
Right.
It's like superheroes like DC, she don't care. Where this other girl cared, but the system kept turning her into this sex
Yes.
thing.
Yes.
Hey, you don't age. Cool. You're legal sex thing because you don't age.
Right.
And hats off to them not like making her look like she was 12.
Yeah. Thank you.
But the when you read it, you get the vibe that she was whatever age she turned, which was like 12 or 13, she's stuck at.
Right.
And like and there's just like these people that come up to her like I feel sorry for her more than I feel like there's a little bit of empathy towards that character than any other character I've felt in this series. And it's definitely to the fact like her parents died. Well, we're not giving you their property because you look like you're 12.
Right. Right.
I'm 26. The paperwork says that. Nope, you're 12. We're not giving you property. Off to the orphanage you go. And then like when she finally gives up with the orphanage, who like she gets thrown into the sex world. And and as the was it the hero vitamin?
Yeah. 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 The guy that
Like the
turns her out,
biggest,
basically.
yeah, turns her out and it's like tricks her into this world of this sexually porn world, if you will. Um just for the pure fact of like, hey guys, look, it's like a rich bunch of rich evil men. This is the thing that kind of struck like A, it's OnlyFans, B, it's Epstein Island.
Yeah. Yeah. You're not wrong.
and and it's like, hey, look, she's 12. She's 26, but she looks 12,
Yeah.
guys.
Exactly. Yeah. Like he
Who
even
wants to
says,
give me
like,
the
look at the
most money?
photos. Like she
Yeah,
looks 15, but she's actually 26 or whatever it is.
yeah. Um, I think 15 is probably a fair thing. I feel creepy saying 12.
Well,
But
either way. I mean, it's their
yeah,
point, not
that's the
yours.
whole point. Yeah. Um, so she, you know, gets turned into this world of pornography and being rented out essentially, technically against her will. Um, and she assumes that Bulleteer should do the same because she had a hard life because she was following the rules. And that was the whole thing. It's like, I'm going to do good. This is what I have to do good. And she was
Right.
tricked into thinking this is what good was. And Bulleteer's like, I don't care. I don't want to do it. I just want to know why you did it.
Right. Well, and also Sally Sonic is the superhero name of the roommate.
Sally Sonic, yes. Sally
She,
Sonic.
that Vitamax guy gives her like it's like it's not evil. I forget what he calls it, but it's like a bad guy potion. So it makes her nefarious where she
Was it
wasn't
a
before.
bad guy potion or
Yeah.
was it just
No, so it actually she's already confused because she wants to do good, but he's like, look, you're out running around saving people for no money. There's no money in that. I'm paying the rent, working at this fucking store. The least you could do is do these photos for this guy I know because it'll help me pay the rent. And you know, he puts it on her as like this is what you know. It's a good thing, whatever. And when she's still really iffy about it at the photo shoot, and then he's like, "Here, drink this." And then after that, she's not a good. You know, she's
Hmm.
a bad guy. Um, it is Bulleteer is a really interesting book. Also, that mind grabber guy, the guy she's talking to that wants to team up, the guy that's like, you should show
Mind
more cleavage
grabber.
or whatever. He's in the first Satana issue in the hero superheroes with low self esteem support group.
Yes, and so is Ida Candy. I
Yes,
think we
who's
talked
been
about a
in
little bit of that in
several.
the last
Yeah,
episode. Yeah.
but so I thought that
And
was interesting.
is it Thumbinella,
Yeah,
the shrinking
Thumbelina.
mill? Yeah, which I like. Her whole thing is like, you think she's doing drugs, but she's really just
Yeah, she's in
inject.
the John
Is she
injecting
doing
something
drugs or
that's
is she doing her injecting her shrinking thing so she can hop in her little purse plane and ride away?
yeah. But you know, third issue of Bulleteer was cool, and then four really. And I had a weird thing happen with four. So I'm going
Hmm.
through. I have all my, you know, seven soldiers, and I can't find four. And I'm like, okay, there's no way I didn't buy four. There's no way, no way. And I had to go
Hmm.
through all these comics and short boxes, and I found it. And I had done a consolidating thing where I had actually like had a Grant Morrison short box that was by time of release. And I don't know how this happened, but it was because I double like for every bag on board I put two comics
Okay.
front and back. It was behind Vinorama one, and I'm like, Sean, what are you doing? Like, why is this here? But I had this panic yesterday where I'm like, do I not have number four? Are you fucking kidding? I look it up on CLZ. I'm like, I know the cover. So yeah, that was it was a weird. I almost text you like panicked, like I can't finish the assignment. I don't have it. Uh, Four is really the Sally Sonic story, and
Yes.
then it really it's weird because at the end Saunders shows up, the ghost, the vigilante ghost. Um,
Yeah, which is like now he's a vigilante ghost, which they don't touch up on before or after this
yeah,
series.
and so then all of this leads us to Seven Soldiers number one,
Number
and
one.
because they don't okay, so first, because they don't ever meet, they're done in like weird, like now, like it'll literally say like Clarion, and it'll be a couple pages of Clarion. And I don't love that. I see why they did it that way. And like Manhattan Guardian is cool because it's done in like moving news strips.
Yes. I like that, like this the Shining Knights artwork stayed the same throughout the book, even though like the top panel and the bottom panel was different artwork.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's you'll see what I mean, like because the now we're getting into this thing, and like I think the first thing is you see pretty much early on is the Shiny Knight attacking the queen
Gloriana
with a
Tenebrae.
sword.
Well, first you
Yes,
get all this, the Arthur stuff, but well, first it starts in Slaughter Swamp again. And so the seven
yes,
unknown
with Grant
men who are
Morrison.
the Grant Morrisons, there's the one that was missing, and he's the corrupted one, the Time Tailor. And this is, we were talking about this
With his
between
little DC logo on his tie.
little DC logo, but we were talking about this between uh, recording or before recording, where it's so weird because he's done, Grant Morrison has done this in other books, and there's a point where the Time Tailor, because the issue starts out he's talking to you, so he's breaking the fourth wall, which Grant Morrison does, you know, and
Hmm.
I would say does well and did in comics, not before anybody else, but he's probably done it the most astutely, I would say. Um,
Yeah,
but there's a point where he's talking and he's like, "It looks kind of like you if it wasn't for the fancy beard and mustache," and I'm like, for just a moment, I'm like, is he talking to me? I was like, what the fuck? I didn't have this when I read this last time, I don't think. I think I grew this in 2000. I think I grew it right when I left because they wouldn't let me grow it when I was a bartender in Chicago and I left in May
Hmm.
2006. I remember I started growing this and they were like, nah, nah, nah. Um, so by the time I got to LA, like this, I've had this since 2000, since like June 2006, right? But it was a weird moment. And you said you had a moment like that too, where there was something that was said where you're like,
Well, there's two moments. There's the moment when I think in Zatanna, that she makes the point like it's also breaking that like fourth wall thing. And she's like, there's several people reading this throughout time, which
yes,
means either as it's coming out or in trade. Weird. And then the moment, like I was talking about, like, and it wasn't anything like it read to me. There was a point when we were, and I think if you remember correctly, and all of you who didn't finish fucking multiversity, this is your fault. But there was a point that because I think I was sick, that like something clicked in my head that like if I didn't finish multiversity, the world would be in a better place, would still be the where we are at now.
right, right.
I'm not going to say who's in charge or what my political stance are, but you know what they are. But, you know, like if I didn't finish this book, the world would change, like the world wouldn't change to the better. You
Right,
know,
right,
and
right.
like and I'm not kidding. I honestly believe that. Like there was a point I remember last year I was like, crap, if I don't finish this book, nothing's going to change. Like this is it's all going to be this horrible, horrible. I think the greatest comment on it is the darkest timeline.
It's
A
going to be
wonderful
Jeff
community
Darrow's
reference. Yes,
Shaolin Cowboy
yes,
timeline.
yes. We're going to be back to that Charlotte Cowan timeline if we don't finish this book. So if any of you like picked up that book and didn't finish it, damn it, fucking finish that book for
Well,
America.
so famously in The Invisibles, Grant Morrison had a sick cat, and he
Mhm.
asked everybody reading to have like a wank, like because there's a thing in chaos magic where like you can make a I'm just going to really strip it down because it's so deep to go into. So you can make a sigil from your desire, and then you can charge the sigil and send it out into the universe to try and kind of hack the universe and make this
Mhm.
happen. And one of the ways you can do that is in a mental state of vacuity. And one of the ways that you make your mind vacuous is you have an orgasm. So he
Okay.
asked all these people, like, hey, my cat's sick. Can you jerk off and think about my cat being okay? And he later said, I should not have done that. It caused like a psychic backlash. I don't remember the particulars, but it was interesting to read. Um, but so maybe if we organized right something where it was like, okay, everybody is going to start on this day multiversity, and then they're going to finish it on this day. Who knows?
Oh, a
And you know
thousand
the shame is
years.
20 years ago. I feel like that it was you could have organized that on the internet for sure.
Yeah.
On June 6, 2006, which was 666, I took
Hmm.
part in an internet magic working um, that like it was everybody like recorded something and blah 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 and they put it all together and sent it out into the universe and like you could have organized it. Whether or not it would have worked, it would still just be interesting to try and organize it. In 2026, you cannot organize that on the internet. The internet is
No,
not like it was. It's just not possible, right? Um,
I feel like there's too many people that bought the bullshit that you would be surprised that bought the bullshit.
yeah,
And there's too many people that are like anti bullshit, but they're like equally on the other spectrum of the anti
yeah,
bullshit,
yeah.
which, you know, yeah, I know yeah. So, like, yeah, it won't work. Like, and then, yeah, it's just the internet's not,
There's
I
just no
think because
place to
the
do that.
algorithm wants to be the
Yeah.
Sheeta
Yeah.
and I'm
No,
going to tie this into the book.
that's what I'm
The
saying. The
algorithm
algorithm
wants
is
to be the Sheeta
the
and
algorithm
destroy us
is
all.
corporate. It is the corporate
Yes.
directive, and
Yes.
um, bring it back around. I
Hmm.
will point out also that the Time Tailor, there is a country song going in some of the scenes with him.
Yes.
That is
Okay.
apparently from Sea Guy.
Really
So that was why I was like, I
interesting.
texted you yesterday. I'm like, I'm going to try to read Sea Guy, and then I was like, oh wait, so, and because I thought something might tie in, but then I looked a little deeper, and it said it was just that song, and also like my back was bothering me, and there was a stack of short boxes on top of it. I was like, no. So we can cover Sea Guy in the future and tie it back into this.
That
But
one might be tough. I
also,
don't know if I have any secret.
you notice how much, and I didn't know who this was. Cyrus Gold figures into this. They reference him
Yeah,
constantly.
Solomon Grundy,
It's,
born on a Monday.
it's so weird. Um,
And I also think the rag suit that Grant Morrison is sewing might be Ragman in some weird way.
what's Ragman?
But Ragman is a Gotham hero. He is a Jewish um superhero who wears a suit of rags.
Okay.
It's basically like kind of think like Moon Knight, but it's all like mismatched rags. So it's
Okay.
like the hood of Moon. Instead of a white costume, it's just like um a quilt, like a
Okay.
mismatched rag of quilts. Every rag is a soul that he like. So it's kind of like Ghost Rider has his peasant stare. Ragman takes your soul. So you committed a crime, he takes your soul and adds you to the rag
Okay.
of his suit. And everyone in the suit, if I recall correctly, depending on who's writing it, probably too, had to do something for redemption to be relieved from the suit.
Okay. Got
So
it.
when Ragman needs the strength of 10 men, he calls upon 10 rags to give him the strength
Okay.
of fight they'll lift the car, and then those souls would be released because they did a
Okay.
good deed after a certain amount of time. So I kind of got the Ragman vibes off that, but that could be just me just being like a DC nerd going like, "Oh, look, it's Ragman. I'm looking for every clue to everything."
No, dude, it's Grant Morrison. That's what it is. It's a
Yes.
reference.
Yes.
I mean, there's no doubt in my mind.
Okay. Because yeah, the suit he was making was full of rags. But yeah, Solomon Grundy was a surprisingly very big role in this thing for not being in
I
at
know. That's
zero.
what I mean. It's so weird.
Everything that took
Um,
out of Sar Swamp had to deal with Solomon Grundy. And then the Clarion Witch Boy had a lot to do with the Grundys being the slaves that they would use.
yes. Right. Right.
And
Right.
then there was a point that Frankenstein turned out to be a Grundy
Yeah. They reference him as
in
being
his
a
own
Grundy,
weird
right? Because
way.
he's
And then
undead.
yeah, and then Clarion takes over Grundy at the end. So or not Grundy, but Frankenstein as a Grundy. Like his spells, his Grundy spell is working on him too. So he is clearly a Grundy also. So we're all Grundys in the DCU.
and and all I don't man, it's just it all boils, they end up actually defeating the Sheeta, and there's a little bit of that
Hmm.
gobbledygook shit. Um,
I feel like there's a lot, the big final battle happens in the background of this book. If you're looking to read this book and go like, all right, let's see these seven people team up
yeah,
to fight the Sheeta. No, sorry. It's all in the
yeah,
background. It does focus on the characters of what they're doing to tie it all together. Um, Sir Justina stabbing the Sheeta Queen. I think what was Frankenstein? Frankenstein does show up from Mars or the
well,
future, whatever it
he's in
was.
1 billion, but then the other thing is like I thought Bulleteer was going to be the one to throw the, because somebody references the you are the spear that was never thrown that kills
Hmm.
Gloriana Tenebrae and defeats the Sheeta, but it ends up actually being I Spider.
Yes,
Uh, the end it
using the spear because at the end it also reveals what all the various items that we were not aware of throughout the
Yes, the
whole
seven.
series.
Well, and it
There's
goes
these
into
seven
that
items.
Archiles or whatever is the mad god, right? What the first? It goes
Yes.
into this like history of the DCU, um, and he's given seven magic items or whatever to help.
Hmm.
I don't know, whatever.
Well,
Um,
no, this is what I thought was interesting. This is the point. Hold on. Taking taking the pin out
okay, got
from
it.
my seven soldier or my shiny knight thing, which was the fact that okay, so the shiny knight is going forward, and she's a member of the Broken Round Table, and she's
Yes.
read by King Arthur. It's basically a darker fuck. It's an absolute version of the author Arthurian stories that we know growing
Yeah,
up.
it's a good way to say it.
Having them because they're going forward in time and the Sheeta are going back in time. I think this thing's reversed, so I'm on the wrong way on the
It's
screen.
no, it works.
But the Sheeta's going back in time and the story's going forward in time because they defeat the Sheeta in 2090 or 2025 or 2005. Now authors round table or broken table is now authors round table,
Yeah,
and
yes,
that the past is better now because the Sheeta hadn't gone and fucked it up,
right.
which I thought was interesting because I didn't see that coming. Like it hit something to me like, oh, okay, so although the dark timeline doesn't exist anymore, all that stuff with the and what you brought up was like the blue tear. You thought blue tear was going to be the spear, but the spear was thrown back in time, going forward to the future to kill Sheeta before it goes back in time
Yeah, which
to the
sounds it's
timeline that
confusing, but it
yeah.
sounds right because it sounds exactly like that thing in Batman I referenced, where it's like his death echoes backwards through the whole series from Final Crisis,
Yes.
but you just don't know what you're
Yes.
looking at when you're seeing it because it hasn't happened yet. I mean
So
that
yeah,
that's
I
that's
that
incredible.
was the part I thought was really fascinating was the fact that the Sheeta, the round table is actually the round table, not the broken round table. Because I remember
Right.
reading that originally, going like, "Oh, look, it's the absolute version of
Yeah,
everything we know."
it definitely feels like that. But
Yes.
overall, like I think that it works, and I enjoy the ride enough. And this is definitely an example of like where I think other people will be annoyed with it, and I'm annoyed with it in Multiversity. But this is where I can forgive certain inadequacies or compression
Mhm.
issues or whatever. I don't know if inadequacy is the right word because there's also an element of like, am I just not smart enough to understand this? I think that's maybe 50% of the time. Um, but I don't know. I recommend this. I think it's extremely ambitious, and
I
I
do
think
too.
that by the end it works out. It's not the best climax, right? It's
No,
not,
but I think
but
it's a solid Grant
it's
Morrison climax.
it's good
It's
enough.
what I expect from him. Yes.
And also I do get the feeling that like it's a climax, but it's also really just like, yeah, but that's just the first step to the next thing, right? So it's like, okay, so
What's the next thing in that? I think the next thing's going backwards to the fact that, like I said, like when the two combine, when the future and the middle ends, it's kind of
well,
just
no, I'm talking about like multiversity, right? So it would be the like, or in this case, actually, Final Crisis. So this ends, and then Final Crisis is. So there's things that carry through in the same way, like you pointed out, JLA, Rock of
mhm.
Ages, and all that stuff carries through to
Which
this.
I want to go like the JLA classified. There's that thing where they download. I want to say it was they download. I fucking love this. This is such a great reference. They download something like Frankenstein becomes Wi-Fi ready,
Yes, yes,
essentially. And he's downloading something. And they're downloading JLA classified
yes,
files,
yes, yes,
which I
yes.
thought was so, which was the issues of classified, which I remember originally reading that going like, oh shit, this ties into JLA classified and
Yeah,
going back and rereading that, which goes back to the first episode we did, which will
yep.
meet with this episode where the world will collide and everything will be better. But the the fact that that was called the JLA Classified, it's like, oh, so the title, like Clark Morrison, you made the title work.
Yeah, right, right. Yeah, absolutely. Because why? Yeah, why is it called JLA
Yeah,
Classified? And
exactly.
DC carries it on as a series because it's like, oh, it's cool. But it's
Yeah,
like, no, but there's
it's
a
like
reason.
Secret Files or Unlimited or any of those type of series where it's just, uh, I think Legends of the Dark Knight, classifieds, same thing. It's just meant to be short, untold stories that may
Yeah,
tie in or may not
absolutely,
tie in. Yeah.
absolutely. Then let me cap this by tying this back into our first episode where I referenced the worst ad I've ever seen in a comic book. You
Okay.
remember this?
No.
I referenced this and I couldn't find it. I found it.
Okay.
This ad just angers me. And I'm sorry to pick on it. And I don't know who the artist is. If you're watching, I apologize. I don't know what Advent Rising was, a video game, apparently. You could win this art. Look at this art.
Oh,
It's
that's a good
awful. Look at his
giveaway.
hands. What is he holding, and why is he holding it with one hand upside down completely? I mean, this is so indicative to me of a corporation going, just make it look like comic book sci-fi bullshit, and they'll want to, it's cool. No,
So
sir,
what was
no.
that for again?
Advent Rising, whatever the fuck that is. It's like a first generation
Advent
PlayStation
Rising.
or Xbox, PC ROM. I don't fucking know. Uh,
Let's do an episode on Advent Rising.
no, let's not. It was
I
just,
feel like that's a movie though, isn't it?
no, not that I know. But also, like, what? I don't even know what's going on here. Like, there's clearly something in the foreground, right? That he's aiming this envelope, this metal envelope, or whatever I don't know what the fuck it is. But like, really? Like, did they close crop this? Because I'm like, is that a robot? Like, I don't know the story of Advent Rising, but even if I did, like, if this was Star Wars Rising and that was supposed to be Luke and Leia and a stormtrooper, I'd be like, bro, not really enough stormtrooper to kind of get the idea across. So
Hold on.
I don't
I
know.
am looking up this.
This ad just from the first time I saw it in 2000, this is the back of Zatanna 1, so 2005, 4, this just pissed me off. It just pissed me off because it's just like, it's just corporations going like, that's what kids are into. No, no, sir. I'm not into whatever this is. I'm not into that at all.
Hold on. Pulling up the ad now just so that I go, oh, this is like the video game print ad for PN. Oh, you can buy this on eBay, just the ad alone for 14.96.
Okay, anybody that does that, there's no help for you. None. So I'm gonna recommend Zombie Ice for that person.
This is the original art that they were giving away.
Yeah. Who would want that?
I don't know if you really like the game available on Xbox,
But
Xbox
even
Live,
if you like
Jesus
the
Christ,
game,
PC,
this sucks. It just sucks. So okay, I'm sorry. Uh,
so I think that's a gun, not an envelope. It's like a
I know
fancy
it's a gun, but it
gun.
doesn't look like a fucking gun. Look at how he's holding it. I know it's a gun. What else would it be? A cyber
Just say I
vagina?
like this girl's navel. I don't know.
Well, they're counting on that clearly. So,
Yeah.
is this a cyber vagina? Is she accosting him because he's stolen her cyber vagina? Like
Cyber vagina.
oh, it's I just hate that. I hate it. Um, Closing thoughts on Seven Soldiers?
I think it's a well worth read. I think it's a very enjoyable read. I think people
Agreed.
should check it out. I think you should pull out a little board with string, buy both
Yeah.
trades, buy a chalkboard or a whiteboard, buy some magnetic pins, or skip the board and just use your wall. And then, like get some strings so you could tie everything
Yeah.
up
Murder
to,
board.
yes, whatever that is. Yeah,
Uh
I think it's one of the I'm very glad we did this. It's been a very fun 3 weeks we've been reading this.
yeah. I've enjoyed it.
Um,
I really enjoyed it.
I've enjoyed it. Obviously, we've talked over probably 3 hours about this now. Um, Not including the edits and fucking video
I'll probably
problems on
edit
my
this a
side,
little higher.
which
Like this
I
this is a pretty
clearly
chaotic
fixed.
episode.
For those who even noticed, the focusing in and out of my nostrils has ended. So yes, that's it has been a very chaotic episode. But this is a very chaotic book. I can't say enough about it. I think it's really good. I don't
Yeah,
think
I agree.
anyone has may not have pulled it off 100%, but he pulled it off 90%,
Yeah, I agree.
and no one has ever pulled it off 90%. So
This particular thing, yes, I agree. This
yes,
is
no one
unlike
has
anything else you'll read.
ever done a continuity based story that is feels, and like I said at the beginning of the show, it feels like you're reading seven different books that
Yeah,
tie together and it works. And yeah, it's just various, it's fun DC stuff that, like, God, it's like Frankenstein pulled that one,
yeah.
Bulleteer. I would have loved to read more Bulleteer. I think I would have loved to read more. I think Frankenstein got his own series, but it wasn't Grant Morrison. I would love to read more Grant Morrison's New Gods. Um, Guardian was like, I liked Guardian more the second time or third time around, I guess technically this would be. I would read that. I don't know if I would have read Shining Knights. And I don't know if I would have kept reading. Who else
Clarion.
was there? I would have kept reading Clarion because Clarion's a fun character. So yeah, I would say six out of these seven books I would have kept reading.
I'm reading the Swamp Thing 1989, which is excellent. Like it's so fucking good. And one of the characters
I
in it,
have it somewhere. I haven't read it yet though.
one of the
Mhm.
characters in it, Shining Knight.
Interesting.
Not this
Not
Shining Knight. It's a
Justina though, like the
totally
original
different version
Shining
of the character.
Knight.
But yeah, it was kind of interesting.
The original character has shown up several times. I think he was in the Stargirl series too.
Okay.
It's an interesting character. Vigilante and Shining Knight show up in the Justice League cartoon a lot.
Okay.
Fun fact, Vigilante was voiced by Nathan Fillion at the time.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, it was just like great here and just hear, Mal from Firefly
Right.
just come up and say
Yeah,
so.
perfect.
Hey, they totally cast him for that and they totally put him in the cartoon more because it was Mal from Firefly.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So yeah. All great characters. It's fun to see these characters. And like Zartana, obviously, well, yeah, Zartana's had is out of all these, Zartana's the one character that has exceeded beyond these characters and was the one making the downgrade to the series, if that makes sense. Because I don't think Zartana needed, if the idea was to revamp characters that already existed, I don't think Zartana needed it
I
out
don't
of the
know that
other
Zatanna
four.
was as prevalent for the years before this. I think this brought her back into the DC like lexicon.
Probably, yes. I mean, at least artwork wise, it did. I think Paul Dini writing a Zatanna series really helped that more than this did.
I
Um,
I think I read that. I think that's the one you recommended to me. I read way back. I don't have that anymore.
yeah,
That was a good series.
I reread that recently, but like it's Paul Dini. I mean, he's a solid writer too. So, but I feel that those issues over time have gone up in value, where this series has never gone up in value, if that makes
Mm,
sense.
yeah.
And that might be due to more. I think Adam Hughes might have done some of those covers, so that might have raised up the value on that. Um, but that's here and there. That's more speculative stuff that I'm not on the speculative side of things.
Yeah,
I
it better
just
not be
dip my toe in
speculating.
it.
Speculating, speculating, driving up the prices and you're masturbating.
You've asked, you motherfucker. You couldn't rule the market.
Okay, so that's Seven Soldiers.
Seven Soldiers. Which was your favorite out of the seven? You
Might
didn't
have been.
answer that
Well, I
question.
think it was Shining Knight actually, which is
Shining Knight
blows
was
my
your
mind.
favorite.
Yeah, I
If
think that's the one I like the best.
if you go back in time and they were like the green light one, would that have been the one you wanted green lighted, or was it
I
been?
don't think any of them needed ongoing. I don't think I would have read any of them. Seven Soldiers, start to finish. This is Drinkable Comics. We'll cover more Grant Morrison probably sooner rather than later. Uh,
Yes.
My name is
With
Sean.
More Brewing, I'm Mike.
I'm an agent of shade.
I'm an agent of daylight.